My name is Dave Beck, and I'm an assistant professor of design, but then I'm partly in the game design and development area and partly in multimedia. I went to undergraduate at St. Olaf College outside of Minneapolis, and I went to graduate school at University of Wisconsin-Madison. The first time I discovered I had an interest in my field, specifically with art, was when I was 4. Something when I was very young. I've always enjoyed drawing. I've always enjoyed watching drawn cartoons or movies, or I was very, very enamored with puppetry, like the Muppets when I was a child. In my field of work, I use software mainly in the 3D area for my work. That consists of 3 different types of software. One is called Maya. It's by Autodesk, and it's mainly used for the industry in entertainment with both video games and film. I also use a program called Rhinoceros, which is an engineering-based, kind of CAD-based program used mainly by product designers, architects, engineers, that I use to fabricate models into something that's an actual object for 3D printing. And finally, I also use ZBrush, which is essentially tries to emulate what it would be like to work with clay. During graduate school, I taught in a series of courses. Like I taught a sculpture course and I taught a contemporary art theory course. After graduate school, for the last 4 years, I worked at a school called Clarkson University, and it's up in New York. They had a program called the Digital Arts and Sciences that I designed, and I directed that program. It's somewhat similar to the multimedia program here and the game design program, kind of combined. A big reason for coming back to the Midwest was to be near our daughter's grandparents, and to be near a cultural hub like Minneapolis, St. Paul. Digital art, which is what I kind of like to call it in broad terms, is tough because it's always changing. It changes week to week as far as the software and new things people are discovering and coming up with. The way I really try and approach it is I try and help students understand it's not just the program they're learning, but just how to think in that realm. In the case of 3D, how to think in the 3D realm. I also try and complement it with a couple different things at once. I try to have exercises going for homework as well as a project, so students can kind of see how the exercises they're doing that are usually pretty dry and boring can somehow compute into that knowledge into a project that they create themselves. Generally speaking, because I'm pushing them hard, when they finish that project, usually they're fairly proud of themselves, of what they've done, and they're kind of energized to go for the next project as well. Over time, I mean, I tell the students right away in their first class that it's going to take years, literally, to get to a point where their work is going to look like something, even come close to look like something that a senior makes or that a professional makes. And it takes time. And the good news is that in this field, I always say that we're the hardest working program on campus, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have the most fun doing it.